After doing more videos than normal last week, I felt a bit guilty when Friday night I didn't bother recording one because it was the one night of the week that I actually got a phone call on the way back that was positive. The head called and I thought, oh no, everyone said it had a decent day, it'd been good, nothing had happened. And then I was in my mind, I'm just thinking, what now? And the head, so I just wanted to let you know, he had a really, really good day today. They spent some time together in the morning and I felt like because he saw that actually Ollie could behave and get on with stuff, it meant that his perception maybe changed a little bit. I don't know. I might be just overthinking it, but it felt a bit like he's only really seen him when he's been misbehaving in assembly or when he's been sent out of class. But they spent like a couple of hours together in the morning, and apparently the head had drawn out what they were going to do on a piece of paper and had gone through the pictures of each event with them and him, and what they were going to do and so on and so forth. And he said it was just nice. It was just good. It was everything was spot on. And when he passed him on back to the class in the afternoon, he was fine. It was all good. And that was really nice to get that call right at the end of term. So, I kind of was excited to get in the door and say, guess what I got a call about? And weirdly, Ollie guessed straight away, which I thought was surprising. Maybe he was told. I didn't really think about it till just now, but Ollie was like, was it his head? And I said, oh, what did he say? And he said, that was really good today. And I was like, okay, were you in the car? That's a bit bizarre. But no, it was nice. It's good. They're on school holidays now, and so I don't get any phone calls. Although I'm skipping ahead. I wrote notes about the week, and I was trying to do it in chronological order from Friday to today. But I did get a bit of a shock at around 2:30 today, which is normally the time I get the dreaded call. I was sat at work doing my work as I do, and suddenly my phone went off, and I looked down and saw the area code, and just thought, what? Like how? Actually, thinking about it, I'd misread because it's not the area code. It was the area code for over the border. But I just saw the O1 and thought it was them, and I was like, And I answered the phone, and it was just silent. And then I realised it was coming from Claire's mum's. And so I rang back thinking, I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure it's nothing, but I'll ring back and check. And they've got some weird new Sky thing that asks who's calling and puts you on hold waiting to see whether they want to talk to you and all of this, which is quite clever for OAPs and looks after them. But when I finally got through, I was like, you called me, you all right? And they were like, we didn't. And I said, well, yeah, you did. I've got the missed call. I answered it, sort of thing. It turned out it was Ben running riot. He was such a handful for them today that he was like climbing on stuff and picking up their phone and whatever. So I apologised for his misdemeanours and I put the phone down. And I thought, damn it, like the one day it can't possibly be Ollie. And I've inadvertently created my own phone call about Ben. But no, he was all good. He was worn out by the time I come and pick him up. But yeah, back to Friday. I was expecting it to be quite a hectic one actually, because I was doing a podcast early. I normally do MGP in the evening, but I arranged, someone referred me to the Chewy Gem group on Facebook where people talk about, it's actually it was born out of a company that did chew devices for teething babies originally, but people with sensory needs found them really soothing, started buying them in their droves, so they become more of a sensory focused company, very supportive of autistic people and so forth. I'd been told to join it because it's quite a good support group, and then when they ask questions about who you are and what you're there for, and I mentioned the videos I do, and so they said, oh, why don't you come on our podcast? So Friday night I was sat there, I did I don't know how long the normal episodes are, but I feel like I bent her ear off talking. She said it was good. She said she enjoyed it, but I felt a little bit like I waffled on because I'm so used to just, a continuous stream of consciousness on here. I was nervous that she'd ask a simple, relatively closed off question, and I'd go off on tangent after tangent after tangent, and then bring it back round to her next question. But I really enjoyed it, and it was quite an interesting one because she'd ask questions like, "How supportive of school?" And I was like, "Yeah, they are pretty good. How supportive of your family? Yeah, they're pretty good. How supportive of your friends? Yeah, they're pretty good. Do you have other people that support you?" I mentioned you lot obviously watching, and it got to the point where she was like, "You sound like you've got it all pretty much lined up. It actually sounds like you've got it a lot better than a lot of people." And I said, yeah, it does feel that way. I obviously didn't want to touch on the more downbeat times where I've had the videos about, Ollie's saying, terrible things that have been really depressing and so forth. But it was really interesting talking because it was like, okay, I am in quite a good position with all this. It is quite well supported, and we sort of agreed that there's people out there who don't have that, and so it's we want to make sure that they do, and that's why I like talking about stuff on the videos, because if you don't have that support and you want to talk about it, you can, I know some people already do. You message me on Twitter, we talk in private. You're all welcome to do that because I want to be helpful. But it was just interesting chatting about it all and realising that a lot of stuff is similar across the board. She was saying that she's not sure about her kid at the moment, and there's other people that are not sure, or they're nearly through the process, or I think they called it question mark, which I thought was an interesting phrase. But no, that was really interesting. And then we had a Kev free MGP, sorry, where it was just me, Pav, and Anna did a show together where I had to lead it, which is always funny because we've been doing that show. It was interesting talking to the Chewigem Sensory. It was the Sensory show about how long they've been going. So they've done 44 episodes, and I think I'm going to be on like episode 60. They record them in blocks massively in advance, so I'm not actually going to appear on their podcast until nearer the summer. And when I do, I'll mention it here, of course. But I was thinking to myself, God, 44, that would have been like 8 years ago on MGP. Like that was either pre-Oliver existing, or it was pre-Oliver's birth at least. And if it wasn't, then it was very, very, like, I'm pretty sure it was just before he was born at least. And that's an insane prospect to think about. It made me think when we were doing, I introed the show, and I think we were 3, 2, 4 or something like that. That's been such a huge chunk of life. And I was talking to Pab before the show because I'm a bit nervous that he basically, we pointed out that our MGPX fundraiser for our event is basically a complete and utter flop. I think it's because we don't really do any community stuff anymore. We don't really do any kind of gaming events or talky stuff where we invite people on to do stuff. We're quite closed off. And it means that very few people have committed to going to it. So I was a bit nervous because Kev's made the announcement that if we don't get the target, then he doesn't really want to bother doing the show anymore. And I was like, he's definitely right. He's right that 8 years in, not being able to even group together enough people to meet at a pub for a back room after 8 years is pretty grim, isn't it? So I'm in two minds on that. Pab doesn't think he'd want to quit and jack it in, but I feel like it would be quite a sensible thing for him to do in his position when like doing, I was thinking if he's doing 7 videos a morning, 7 videos an afternoon, and 7 videos an evening, which is probably not far off the level of production he's looking at, so 21 videos a week. If he's having to drop that down to like 18 videos because he's got to spend sort of 3 hours around the podcast every week, then I don't know, the maths is probably way off there. It's only 1 video, so I'm miles off. But if he had to do 20 instead of 21, he might feel he can do better. He might be able to do a video about gaming or a video about wrestling or whatever that would make him more famous and well off. And I know it's not about that, it's about and whatever, but it is his job. If I felt like, 2 hours of my work a week were wasted on something that wasn't actually benefiting it, I'm thinking of it very black and white. I'm probably overreacting to an off-the-cuff comment he made for a joke, but I'm sat there thinking it does make business sense for him to do something else for that time. So now I'm racking my brain. I'm trying to think of something more profitable I can suggest to him we should do so that I don't have this gaping hole on my Friday nights every week. Because I don't know that... I mean, he hasn't played a game in a decade, but I play even less, so I don't know that I could really carry a gaming show without another half-hearted person there. So that was interesting. It was fun doing it, though. It was great fun sort of trying to guide it and whatever he normally does in the background of it all. Normally, I'm more of the destructive force, derailing things left, right and centre with my tangents. But this time I had to kind of drive it forward and let Anna do the tangents, which was entertaining in itself because she had a fair few to do and she wasn't listening when I was asking her questions, which was great fun. I'm trying to think what else happened. Yeah, so Saturday was Community Day for Pokemon. Ollie seems to be going through another segment of not being that into it. That was compounded by the fact that when we arrived, Emily opened her phone and caught a shiny straight away. And then Oliver was annoyed because he wanted one and she had one and he couldn't understand that he will definitely get one. It's a 3-hour event and she's literally just minute 1, second 1, caught one. 20 minutes later, he'd caught like 3. So then he wasn't interested because he had one of each and he just wanted a good one he could evolve. And I kept telling him to wait because all of the ones he was getting were terrible. and he wasn't happy about that. And then I kept saying, well, if you want to evolve a rubbish one, just do it. And then he didn't want to evolve a rubbish one because he wanted to evolve a good one. And it got to the point where he was like, I hate this game, it's stupid. And I said, well, do you want to stop playing? He was like, no. And then he'd moan for another hour, and I was wandering around. I was enjoying myself. I was just going around. It's probably the most walking I get to do once a month on a community day. That's it. We ended up with quite a lot. I think he ended up with 6 or 7, and I ended up with about 6. I don't think any of them were particularly good, but I'd already had the foresight to stack up a load of good ones ready to evolve the second the event started, but he hadn't had the luck of catching any, to be fair. But I feel like I've been managing his account for him between his peaks and troughs. He loses interest massively, and then suddenly he gets really into it. And I'm trying to maintain that for him so that when the time comes, he can do it. But then, on the other hand, I'm not sure whether I should be catching stuff for him. If I see something he doesn't have, should I catch it? Because I feel like I'm derailing his fun if he's already got it. But he gets annoyed again. If I bring something home that I've caught and he hasn't got it, he gets angry at me that he hasn't got it. I'm like, I can't win. I start not showing him it, but then he sees my Pokedex one day and he's like, why have you got this many and I've got this many? And I'm like, because I play it every day like a religion, and you play it as and when you can be bothered, you cheeky little monkey. But yeah, we had fun anyway. It was good. Emily kind of wandered off after she'd caught 3 or 4. She went off with Claire to do some shopping, left us to it. And there's an interesting thing where, I don't know why, every community day we go to Peterborough now, and there's a clown wandering around in the city centre. And I don't like clowns. I don't know if I mentioned before, but when little kids had imaginary friends as children, I had an imaginary enemy that was a clown. Well, it was like 6 clowns that were an imaginary group of enemies. They scared the heck out of me. I used to have nightmares about them and stuff. So I don't really like clowns. And this clown is there every community day wandering around handing out balloons. And I kept thinking, I'm just going to walk Ollie away from them because I don't want him to I don't want him getting into clowns. It's a bit selfish, I know, but it just freaked me out. And so I was always kind of like, nope, stay away from her. I wouldn't be saying it. I'd be saying, let's go over here, knowing that she's over there. And then on Saturday, after about an hour of wandering around this little square, me tactfully ignoring the clown and pretending they weren't there and avoiding them, he randomly went, Daddy, why is that creepy clown there? She was here last time. I don't like it. And I was like, oh, thank God. I'm so relieved. I said, I imagine she just wants to share balloons with people, and it could be any reason. It could be that she's part of a company. It could be that she's trying to, I don't know. I was thinking it'd be quite interesting if she was trying to build confidence by just dressing as a clown and wandering around town. Good for her. But it creeps me out because I don't like clowns. So I was very relieved that he didn't like clowns either, which again sounds mental because really I should be saying it's just a person in makeup. They're nothing to be afraid of. But I was like, nope, good. Let's get away from the clown. I kept worrying that I would talk to Emily and Claire and they'd both say, don't be silly. And then when they met up with us, Emily was like, oh God, there's a clown over there. I hate clowns. And I was convinced Claire was about to say, don't be silly, clowns are great. And she was like, me too. I've walked past her 3 times and I really don't want to go near her. And I was like, I love you guys. I was like, I've been convincing myself that I have to pretend they're not there so that you don't end up engaging them. I'm so relieved that we all share this weird fear and we all want to get the hell out of here. So we left. I didn't get Ben's opinion because he still doesn't talk. But no, I feel like we're a family of clown-fearing people, and I'm okay with that because it just means I'm not going to be put in a weird situation. I think if Claire had gone, no, I love him, I think we should book a clown to visit our house, I'd have probably moved out. I don't know what would have happened. It's weird that I didn't know that about her. I mean, she didn't know that about me after 10 years either. Oh, 14 years, sorry, even. So, yeah, we'll see. Our Sunday was pretty uneventful. I think the only thing that happened was, just speaking of not knowing things about us after 14 years, I dropped the bombshell that I don't particularly like fudge, and hurt Claire's feelings a little bit because she's been buying me fudge every year for years and I've been eating it begrudgingly and never mentioned it because I didn't know how, but she mentioned in passing that she had 2 boxes of this one she bought me for Christmas left upstairs, and I said, oh great, so I didn't just get 1 palm off, you bought extra, did you? And she was like, no, I bought you 1 and 3 came, and I was like, can you give them away? I don't like them. And she was like, what do you mean you don't like them? And I said, I don't really like fudge. She was like, but I've been getting it for you all the time. And I was like, yeah, you, your mum, my mum, everyone, constantly, all the time, every year. And I've just never known how to say it. And I don't know why it came out now, but I've said it. And I, again, was laughing, thinking it's been nearly a decade and a half. And I don't know where it came from. I think they just assumed I eat anything because I'm a fat man. She's also discovered since then I don't particularly like bacon, and that blew her mind. I feel like she just assumed I eat everything, and part of the problem is if she put it in front of me, I probably did, because I just don't like seeing food be wasted. But now I'm trying to eat healthier, and I've still not eating meat and all of that. I'm starting to not eat stuff that I just don't like, because why would I? That's part of the reason I got these triple chins and all of this. But it's been quite entertaining dropping those bombs out left, right and centre at the moment. I'm wondering what else I've not told her about. I haven't got anything in my mind to tell her, but she'll offer me food tomorrow and I'll be like, I don't like that either. And she'll just be like, who are you? Maybe I've been replaced by an alien and I don't know it. But yeah, other than that, today's been pretty bog standard. I was moaning on Twitter earlier that people keep saying it's like the Mary Celeste in my office because lots of our staff are away at an event this week. The joke's not funny, and it's been cracked. It was cracked like 6 times this morning. It's cracked every time someone's not in the office, and I think today I just but the 6th time I just said, 5 people have already said that, and it wasn't funny the first time, and they were like, oh, sorry. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of fed up of hearing it. I'm assuming it's a ghost ship. Is that, I've gleaned this from the amount of times it's been said. I think it's a ship that just floats around with no people on it, and that's the joke. But Jesus Christ, it's so painful. I don't know, they all crack it at me. No one cracks it at each other and goes, ha ha ha. They all tell me it, and I'm like, yeah. So that was about the highlight of the day. Other than that, I've just been cracking on with loads of work, because whilst I thought it was going to be a quiet week where I wouldn't have to do very much because no one was there, and then loads of customers have asked for stuff that I've had to do, which is great because it means I make money and it's all good and it's good business. But I was like, I'm the only one here. No. But nah, it's all good. It's all good. I love it. I'm going to wrap up there because that is pretty much everything I've got to say. I'm so glad it's the holidays for the kids, because it means I don't have to spend all day worrying about Ollie and what he's done. They just seem to want to chill out. I'm more worried about the fact they're going to spend all the time on the Switches and the iPads and all of that. I'm thinking I might hide them because they're at our house tomorrow. But I fear if I hide them, the house will probably be turned upside down, and then I'll have a difficult one. But I think Ben's at nursery, so my mother-in-law gets a rest, and I shouldn't get any phone calls tomorrow unless nursery decide to ring for some damn reason. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. This has been an overly long one. Considering I have very little to talk about, this has been longer than normal. If you made it all the way through this, leave a comment to say so, because yeah, I didn't expect to be talking for this long, but thank you for watching. I'll see you all on Wednesday, unless anything happens tomorrow. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and yeah, cheers for watching. Thanks very much. Bye.